So I watched Run, Hide, Fight. This is a movie that is being released by the Daily Wire. If you don't know who they are a conservative news outlet. Ben Shapiro works for them, and this is their first foray into film. Uh, John Cook, what did you think of the movie? Okay, I get it. Jesus Christ, calm down. He didn't like it. Yeah, and it's not good. it's it's not good. And honestly, like, listen, like I said before, the movie it was distributed by the Daily Wire. I don't necessarily agree with them politically, but taking like politics out of the movie, it's just not a very well made movie. It's not the absolute train wreck that I thought it was going to be after watching the trailer, because the trailer was really bad, and I was expecting this to be more of like a gloriously bad movie, but instead of being a train wreck, it's like if a train's like engine malfunctioned and it just like slowly stopped, and you're just like watching a train come to a stop. You know, it's not awful, but I almost wish it was awful so that I could at least laugh at it a bit more. But anyways, the reason why it's not awful is because it's actually pretty like well made. Like, some of the shots are decent. Some of the action is, it's like it's pretty. It can be pretty tense at times. So like it's not terribly constructed. And even some of the story elements I didn't mind. Like, so I guess to give it like a bit of a plot synopsis. So basically, it's a school shooter movie. But like, if it was like Die Hard, if like Die Hard happened during a school shooting, and so everything that has to do with the school shooting, that's where it's just like bad, and it's honestly just kind of cringy. But there's this little side plot or side story about the protagonist, and sort of like her going through how she went through a traumatic event, I'll say, and how she's kind of pushing everybody in her life away because of that. And that stuff is kind of okay, but it's completely overshadowed by this completely ridiculous school shooter element that is just not handled well. And here's the thing, like, like, the movie is obviously, it's trying very hard to be edgy, and like, if like Ben Shapiro, he wrote this op-ed about this movie, basically talking about how the conservatives, they're losing the culture war, and he was like, the liberals, they've taken over Hollywood, and all these liberal morals are in Hollywood, and we need to make a stand. And it's the cringiest, most larpy thing I've ever read in my life. and basically in there he outlines that with their like film initiative, they want to make like edgy movies that appeal to young adults, and that is all that is so evident watching this movie, because it is trying so hard to be edgy, but it just ends up being insanely cringy, and I can't take any of it seriously. Like, the school shooter, like, so there's like a group of school shooters, and the leader of the school shooters, like, he's literally just written like the Joker. Like, he's like, society treated me bad, and now I'm getting my revenge. And it's just the most cringy thing I've ever seen in my life. And like, yeah, like, that aspect of the movie is really bad, and unfortunately that's most of the movie. But like, yeah, like, if the movie had just been about this girl who's dealing with her trauma, I feel like that movie could have been okay, and like, I would have come out and said, hey, I don't necessarily agree with the Daily Wire, but this movie is about a girl dealing with trauma. It's not bad. But they decided to go in this weird like school shooter territory because I guess those young adults, they love their school shooter movies. I guess. And yeah, and so with it being a Daily Wire movie, like it's funny because these are the people that always complain about like politics being in movies and how politics are like being shoved down your throat all the time. But then they make a movie that, I mean, like has definitely has like their politics in it, like conservatives are always saying that like, to beat a guy with a bad guy with a gun, you need a good guy with a gun. So what do they do in this movie? Like there's a good guy with a gun that, helps stop the bad guy. Like there's this bit in it where like a news organization, they're like covering the school shooting, and then the sheriff, he wants that the news to like stop filming the school because the school shooter is like using that to his advantage. And the news guy, he's like, no, we're here to get the shot, because we only care about profiting off of tragedy, blah 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 blah. And like the name of the news organization is like FNN, and it uses the font of CNN. And it's just like that hypocrisy is just also really funny to me, that like these people are always complaining about politics being in movies and politics being shoved down your throat. And oh my gosh, there's politics at the sporting event. It definitely wasn't political at all when we're like saying the Pledge of Allegiance. No politicking happening here. But oh my gosh, a guy decides to take a knee in order to raise awareness for police brutality. Oh no, now the politicking is happening. Like these are the people that are constantly complaining about politics being injected in things, yet they are now injecting their politics into their movies. I don't know. I just think that hypocrisy is it's pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know. There's really not much else to say about this movie. It's not very good. I wouldn't recommend watching it. Like I wouldn't even recommend hate watching it because it's honestly just sad. It's a sad movie that is trying so hard to be edgy and trying so hard to appeal to a younger audience, that it just falls flat to me. But yeah, I don't know. Have you seen it? If you did, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. And goodbye.